Hey there, getting backers. It's Justin. I am here with Assad Quraishi from Genesis Battle of Champions. Actually, it's the Haunted Castle Gaming. We're going to be talking a little bit about. He's joined backers as an issuer, talking a little bit about his experience, where he's been, what he's interested in, what he's going to be doing. In three, two, one.
Hey, hi everybody.
Hey, Assad.
Uh,
All right, you're on.
so,
Go ahead.
so just a little bit about the company in the background.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess I'll yeah, I sort of let it a little bit.
yeah.
There's actually a video that the audience saw that was sort of in
Okay.
between there. That was sort of, yeah, the three two one went to like a little bumper video. Anyways, so we're live. This is getting backers. This is number two today. I'm here with Assad Quraishi from Haunted Castle Gaming, and he's created himself a pretty interesting game. He's got a number of users out there already. You've been doing it for I think about 3 4 years. You said right?
3 years now.
Three
Yeah.
years. Okay, cool. We've got like tens of thousands of sets out in the world. Correct?
hmm yeah, we got a good number that are out in distribution right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start off with Assad. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are
Uh,
and kind of what brought you to this point.
so I I did 10 years as a software QA. I worked for a lot of different companies. One of the best things was working for an agency that outsourced me to a lot of different startups. So I got to
Okay.
meet a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs, and a lot of people who are just doing their own thing. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's something I want to do. And then
Cool.
along the way, I got a lot of mentorship from designers, artists, just everyone. And I thought, okay, I want to know what the next level is for my career. And I was always very passionate about game design. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. And I thought, let's just marry these two things together. Why don't I start my own company and design my own game and put it out there? And I was really surprised to find out that designing the game would be the easy part. Starting the company is definitely the much harder part, but much more rewarding. And it's just so much fun. And I love doing it.
Of
So
course. Of course.
yeah,
Cool.
after we took our product for sale for the first weekend, I was just a trial pilot thing to see can we sell any of it? Are people interested in the product? And we sold out on most of our inventory in that first weekend. And I was like, okay, I know we got something here. So I quit my job and I started doing this full time.
Cool. And that was 3 years ago, basically.
Yeah, close
Cool.
to yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the game because we met. Obviously, you've signed up with backers. We're working with you. I think which package did you or marketing plan did you choose?
We got the Sherpa.
The Sherpa. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're working with you. We're working with Ricky a little bit over the past. I know you and I met last week. I think at some point.
Yep.
Went out for lunch. Uh, so tell us. It's an interesting game. I mean, you had to kind of explain it sort of briefly to me, but tell it to the crowd like what it is, what sort of the background of the game is. Where it fits in sort of in the market, I guess, of games because I
Yeah.
think you talk about the Pokemon side as being sort of maybe a partial influence, but tell us a little bit more about the game itself.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go a little bit into the history about this genre of gaming. So
Okay.
it started off with this guy Richard Garfield, and he got the opportunity to make a game, and he was trying to figure out a really cool system for it. And he thought he took that model of hockey packets, where you
Yeah.
buy these random booster packs. He's like, what happens if you bought those booster packs, but then all those cards could be combined into playing a bigger game? So
Right.
he created this genre called the collectible card game. And from there, we got the first game, which was Magic the Gathering. And then later on, more and more games started coming out. Pokemon being a very famous one, Yu-Gi-Oh being another very famous one. So I wanted to be in that space, but gaming as a whole has evolved over the years since when Richard Garfield first started this 27 years ago. So
Right.
I thought, okay, I want to take some of the newer concepts, some of the newer models, and apply it to the same genre. So now, what a lot of people compare our game to is like Magic the Gathering meets chess. It's not just the card game experience, now you are dealing with this tactical element to it as well, which creates a whole new level of play, which it brings in another set of audiences that normally wouldn't be interested in these type of games.
Right.
get them in, and they really love it.
Because you mentioned that there's sort of a card aspect with a confined, like, distance, sort of
Yeah,
spatial kind of board, if you will, right? Like a nine, was it nine space board, or what's the size of the
yeah.
board?
It's a 5 by 6 grid.
5 by 6,
Five by
right? Okay.
six,
Yeah.
so 30 slots. And it's cool because everything you play is bounded by distance and direction, which
Right.
makes a lot of gameplay very intuitive. If you
That's
want
the
to punch
chess
someone,
component.
you got to punch them right in the face. So you have to come in close to them.
Right.
If you're an archer, you can stay away and shoot arrows. So that intuitive nature makes it really easy, not just for the traditional gamers to get into the game, but also kids can get into the game very easily because it just clicks for them. It makes sense of how everything works.
Yeah, cool. And so maybe just talk, because I think it's interesting. I think you didn't really touch on it specifically, but I think the concept of, everything's kind of evolved towards the digital side, but yet you've kind of focused on the non-digital, right? And
Yeah.
and that's your business plan. So maybe I'll preface that into sort of the next question I had was, let's talk about that, the digital versus non-digital, and fill people in a little bit on why you've chosen to go that route, and what
Mhm.
are some things that you've encountered positively and negatively, and what is your sort of path direction, going
Mhm.
forward, or what are your
Yeah.
thoughts going forward? Yeah.
So the reason why picked the physical route, it's two big factors. One is community building. These type of games don't succeed unless there's strong communities that
Right.
are advocating for the growth of the game. And on the digital platform, you don't get that one-on-one relationship with your customers. You can't sit with them. You can't have a meal with them. A lot of the people who play the game have become close friends of mine over the year. They lean on me for advice on how to build a business or how to build a game. I lean on them on advice of like, how do you build communities? And that back and forth communication, you just couldn't get the same quality as you can get when you're there face to face. And the
Right.
second side of it is the moral side of it. Game designers, it's way too easy for a game designer to turn their players into a number. How
Yeah.
how many players do we have, and how much money are we getting out of them, and how do we get more money out of them? But when you have to sit across with them every day, hear about not just how much they're enjoying the game, but maybe life struggles that they're going through, it's a lot harder to then turn them around and be like, okay, how much money can I get out of you, right? So those two big reasons are what kept me on the physical side. Now, I don't think that I will never go digital. I think that to truly grow and hit that higher level, we will have to go digital. But it's just not where I want to be right now. So that's one of the biggest pain points where we are right now. And staying in the physical realm is that scalability is really, really challenging. We can reach a lot of people in the physical space, but if we want to hit a global scale, then we have to go digital, right?
Right, right. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that as you were talking there, I was actually just sharing. I was sharing this video on another platform,
Hmm.
just to kind of get the reach out there. And obviously, we use digital media, and they kind of, from a marketing perspective for backers. But one of the things that we've done as a business, and I think it's interesting, sort of thinking about it when we talked a little bit, but it made me reminded me there, it's the localized kind of one-to-one connection
Hmm.
under a massive brand,
Yeah.
scalable digital brand, right? So with backers, we have the EIR. We've got the one funding portal, 108 Securities right now, but it's a software as a service with the one funding portal with the EIRs like Ricky working with the entrepreneurs like
Hmm.
yourself, right, at a more localized level. And so
Yeah.
we'll have dealers in every jurisdiction operating, regulated funding portals with issuers like yourself launching campaigns on
Hmm.
those platforms. But then we're also able to be a broader kind of presence across all regions, right? And that's, I think, maybe kind of how you're saying that you get the localized, maybe like events, the people
Yeah.
playing locally one to one at that really connected level where they
Hmm.
become friends, and it becomes, you mentioned this the other day, and I thought this was really interesting because I thought this was just the case with everyone, but maybe I'm old, and that might be the reason I thought this. But board games are what we did as kids, right? Like
Yeah.
I had Nintendo, the first Nintendo, when I was about 9, right? I got it sort of when
Hmm.
it came out, 8 or 9, I think. But prior to that, and sort of after that, even for a number of years, it was board games, it was card games, it was that was how
Yeah.
you entertained with family and friends, right? You played Scrabble, Trivial Pursuit, Monopoly,
Yeah.
Risk, whatever the game was, right? Cards, Crazy Eights, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Uno, so that one-to-one is a great way to bond with somebody, right? So it's
Yes.
kind of cool that you're bringing that, because everyone, I remember everyone walking around 2 or 3 years ago with Pokemon, like getting hit by cars, like trying to,
Yeah.
digitally. I mean, yeah, sure, they were groups of people, but I don't think they were really interacting with each other, right? So,
No.
so I think that's definitely a cool thing. But obviously, as you scale, there is that digital component to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how you do convert to that digital space. Like, do you have sort of a thought process on how that might happen or unfold?
Yeah, I have some theories, but at the end of the day, when we do realize we need to cross that spectrum, we'll have to think about it very logically because, again, we don't want to lose the morality of what game design is for.
Right.
It's not just to entertain people. It's not just to give them a sense of escapism. It's also
To bring
to,
them together.
yeah, bring them together, create bonds, create
Yeah.
friendships. And if the platform was primarily on the digital side, then I'm really worried that not just the company, but the developers, the players can disassociate themselves.
Yeah.
I find with these gaming industries, when I was younger, there was that concept that gaming is for the nerds, the geeks. That was a very isolated people who were playing it, but they weren't mean people. But now we're getting to a point where over and over again we're hearing all these articles of gamers being very aggressive, and it's the fact that they can disguise themselves when they go to play.
Yeah.
Online digital communities are very violent and very aggressive, especially towards women, and
Yeah.
it's not cool.
Not cool at all. And yeah, I mean that's the whole anonymity, right? Like
Yes.
being able to be anonymous and feel like you're somehow. Yeah. Anyways, that's probably a conversation
Yeah.
for like a whole hour-long show
Oh
on
yeah.
the problems with anonymity and social media, but and yeah, the bullying aspect of that, and again, I grew up, I think, in an era pre social media, and
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine being, a teenager with social media. I
Yeah.
mean, it was hard enough without it. I can't imagine with it. So
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. So that's cool. So I think it's really cool. I like it. Like I said, you gave me a couple cards to bring home.
Hmm.
With let's see if you can see it there. It's pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
So you got the various I don't know if you want to explain what they are. Their power, their health. Sort of. It's kind of like a cool version of a Pokemon card, right? And you've got your logo there.
Yeah.
So the whole, I'm showing it to the world there, but anyways, so it's really cool. You've got the cards, like I said, you've shipped, and out of pocket, and out of profits, you've sort of shipped, reshipped, shipped, printed, and sort of upgraded
Yeah.
the booster packs, and you've done some of the originals a couple times, and now you're kind of growing that, and you've got, I think, how many stores did you say you're in currently?
So we're mainly selling within Southern Ontario. We have
Okay.
about 15 stores here. We did
Okay.
just get our first store in Montreal, which was
Okay.
really
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
They're a huge supporter now. They got a bunch of inventory there, and they're playing regularly. So yeah, it's growing. And this year we've seen a lot of growth in a very short period of time.
Awesome. And
So
just give me like rough number. What was the number of packs that you've shipped? Let's say booster packs over the 3 years. How many of you have you printed off,
ooh.
distributed?
Printed off, we're getting close to like 50, 60,000, but I would say distributed. We're about half that. I would say 20 or 30,000.
20,
We're
thirty
still
thousand
we're still
distributed.
holding on to some inventory,
Okay.
but yeah, we're
Yeah,
getting
that's
through that.
awesome.
And this year, we're actually looking at the fact that we might have to reprint some of the stuff from the older sets,
Okay.
and that's a really crazy thought because I remember when that
They're
first set
getting
of
worn
inventory
out. Are they getting
yeah.
worn out? Is that the idea, or?
No, it's just we're selling through it quite a
Oh,
bit.
okay.
And
Okay.
I remember when you got the first set of inventory, I was there with my friends or like colleagues, and we're looking at all of it, and we're like, we'll never get through all of this. And now it's slowly just like chipping away, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, now we got to order more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's really good. And so let's just touch on, I guess. So obviously, you've signed up with backers as an issuer. You're on the Sherpa plan. You're working with Ricky sort of on he's the EIR that you're working with. Kind of coming up with some strategies. What are some things that you've done? I know we talked about it the other day. From a marketing sort of branding, business development perspective, what are some of the things you've done, and what are some of the things you are looking forward to doing? Maybe ideas that Ricky's brought to the table, or things that you guys, we're talking about kind of going forward with backers.
So far, a lot of our marketing is still, we're testing the waters with a lot of the digital stuff, how to do Facebook ads, because my thing is, I don't want to just throw a lot of money into it. I want to put a little bit in, learn from those, and put in a little bit more, right? It needs to be growth, especially when you're doing marketing. You got to learn from your mistakes. So we're doing the Facebook marketing. We're doing a lot of in-person events. Again, trying to keep those relationships as we grow. And then one thing that we were doing and trying to figure out how to do properly, but then you brought it up, and I was like, yes, this is something we need to double down on, are the live streaming of the games.
The events, right?
Yeah. Because
I'm not just a pretty face.
Yeah, we want people to watch the games, and then the people who aren't at the event, they can watch people play it, and then be like, okay, now I have the itch. I want to go out and play, right?
Yeah. And if they start to get it and understand maybe concepts and maybe play sort of structure, and then they get intrigued to go buy a pack and play themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So those are the big things. And then the thing I'm looking at, especially as we start scaling up, is how do we capitalize off of this more? How do we turn it into not just a game people are playing, but more like sports? How do we get it people wanting to just, watch people play and be, pick their crowd favorites and follow certain players and turn it into more of a
esports
type of system. Yeah.
I like that. So I think it's cool. You mentioned that you had an event with 16 players. I don't know if I mentioned I started a 3-on-3 pro hockey league, which will be coming back soon. Backers will be using the Backers platform to actually fund that league. But you mentioned sort of 16 teams. What we've done is a single elimination bracket where you go, in our case, 8 to 4 to 2 to 1, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe pull your screen down a little bit. You're kind of tilting up a little bit there. We're losing the other way. Pull it towards you. There you go. So one of the things is you mentioned that you had 16 players. What was the format there, and what was the feedback you got? Was that the championship? I think you said.
Yeah, so we had the championship. It was 18 players.
18. Sorry,
we did a Swiss format tournament.
Okay.
So instead of doing elimination, because we knew that even if someone lost the game, they'd still want to be playing.
Right.
So we did a Swiss format, and then halfway through the tournament, we let the people who are in the bottom half decide if they want to drop out or not. And if they did, they can create a side tournament that they were playing in.
Okay.
And then all the core players kept on playing till the end. And it was really cool. We had first, second, and then 2 people tied for third. Because we didn't have enough round to get it.
Did you have a cash prize at all, or?
Yeah. Because it was our first tournament, our top place got $1,000 walking away.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And next year we're aiming to increase that. The goal right now is to set it for 2,500.
And then how many people would you expect to show up?
So if we keep growing at the rate we're going at, and we get to the size I'm expecting, our next championship, I want to see somewhere between 80 to 100 people playing.
Awesome. You know what? I want to try out. Do I have to go to my local distributor and try out for their team, or how does that work? Can I just enter? Is it kind of like World Series of Poker? Is there a fee to enter, or no?
No, and that's part of the reasoning is because of law. If we charge people to enter and we give away a prize, it's considered gambling.
Right.
Then it becomes an issue. We can't bring in people who are under 18 and all these other things.
Right.
So we don't charge people to enter.
So keep it within the legal confines. Perfect.
Yeah. And the second part to it is also It's a championship. If there's a
Yeah.
ringer, someone who's really, really good, but doesn't have a local community to play with, I still want them to have the chance to come out and compete.
Yeah. And you want to
So
make it accessible, especially early
yeah,
on, to everyone, right? You
yeah,
don't want to, not to say that $50 or $100 would be inaccessible, but it kind of maybe would be, right, to people to
yeah,
say, right? So that's
yeah,
that's cool,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And the whole gambling thing makes perfect sense. So you had the championship, maybe looking to sort of a 2020 championship, 100 people.
Yeah.
The live stream I think is a great idea. I think not just a championship, but maybe hosting events maybe regularly might be something
Yep.
that I think you've talked about as well. So that'd be cool at different venues, just kind of going in and saying, hey, we'll be here, hey, we'll be
Yep.
there. I know there was a guy called Game Schooled near where
Yep.
we used to live, and he used to host events and stuff. So that'd be cool. Okay, so you're looking to grow. Obviously, you've been having some success. You
Hmm.
saw what Backers was doing. You saw the opportunity to work with us from a marketing perspective. You chose the Sherpa marketing plan. You are now working with Ricky, a little bit with myself. We're starting to build out a plan. What do you hope to get out of Backers? Obviously, funding. At the end, we're going to upsell your
Yeah.
community with equity. We're going to help grow that community. I think you said you've got about 5 or 6 thousand people on sort of between Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
and a couple of them. I think kind of combined. It might be a little overlap, but what do you hope to get out of Backers? Over the next 8 to 12 months as you work through the process.
So there are quite a few things. I think one of the first things that really got me and why I really want to work with you is because I think it's the Toronto startup vibe, right? If you find other entrepreneurs in well, in your own city, you want to support them because we're all in the same boat. And if we don't support each other, then
Yeah,
how do we thrive, right?
100%.
And I know how it felt getting my first breaks. Even now, when I get a brand new client set up, I have 15 clients right now. Even getting a brand new one, I'm still super excited because they're taking a chance on me.
Yeah,
So I want to make sure that,
and we
uh,
appreciate that.
yeah,
You're one of our first 15 as well.
yeah,
Perfect.
and that's a big thing for me. I think we should be supporting each other. The second part to it is being able to take the company to the next level. Right now, yeah, I do have a team of game designers with 3 over there, 6 artists, a content writer. I have a bunch of people working for me, but they're all contract. What I really
Right.
want to see is getting full-time staff, getting someone who can actually really share some of the burden with me, especially on the sales end, as we grow into more communities, more stores, and just get more and more people excited, right?
Right.
Um, and then the other side is this is a learning experience. I've never taken my company to this next big jump. And I think having someone who, isn't holding your hand, but is coaching you a little bit, being like, we know what this is like. We know the fear. I remember going through one of your videos and it was saying that a lot of people who go through this phase, giving up equity for the first time, they're scared and nervous. I was like, yep, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So the fact that I know you can relate to what I'm going through will make the conversations a lot easier.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I think those are kind of some of the bigger factors of like what I'm looking to get out of this, why I wanted to go with you guys compared to like going the VC route or anything else. Because with VCs, like you said, you give up a lot of equity and you don't know what you're going to get in return, right? And here, the value is the fact that I know a lot of people who are playing the game right now. It's because they want to invest into it. They want to see it grow. The people who were there at the early days of Magic. So I don't know if you know this, but the original cards in Magic, their value grows faster than a lot of stocks. So people who were there in the early days of Magic and who got some of those cards early on, they sell for 20, $30,000 a card.
Wow.
So a lot of people who see my game, they're thinking that too. They're like, I want to be here in the early days. So 20 years from now, these cards sell for a lot. And
Right.
even now, we had one of our cards exchanged between 2 hands for $200.
Wow.
One card for $200, and this game's like 2, 3 years old,
Yeah.
right? So these people who are investing, they are investing with the cards. But the idea of them potentially being able to get a part of the company,
Yeah.
I know just from talking to them about this, this is something they'd be excited about.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's I think I appreciate you, giving us, the opportunity to work with you as well. And I think you hit the nail, right on the head. That is exactly why backers, we do what we do. Obviously, we want to. Our mission, and I'm sure you've seen it, is to
Hmm.
support and work with 1 million entrepreneurs over the coming years. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I want to do it before I am a gray and old, if that's not already the case. But anyways, our mission is definitely to support the local entrepreneurs. We are in Toronto, so yes, definitely supporting local entrepreneurs like ourselves. Because that's one thing that I think maybe is lost in all of this is we also are entrepreneurs. We've
Hmm.
myself, Ricky, Michael, Jeff, some of the other people that are involved um, have all been there, raised capital, started from scratch, have built up businesses that were doing millions, tens of millions, built different things to various levels, and we understand the difficulties and some of the key components that entrepreneurs need and need to kind of go through to get to that next level. And so yeah, definitely appreciate you taking a chance on us. I guess as I think we're at about 12 issuers right now. So you are in that first 15. And yeah, very much the community focus, right? And it's very much your customers, your users in your case, or your players, right?
Hmm.
Your fans. They are able to buy into your idea, and then they're able to become super fans, right? Invested,
Yeah.
or obviously we call them backers. That's
Hmm.
kind of the name of our business, right? But
Yeah.
it's that real like community vibe where
Hmm.
they're now a small piece of your success, right? And that'll help as you expand those people. So it's amazing that you're able to sort of pinpoint that and hit it so succinctly. So just I guess we'll kind of don't want to go too long here, but and I really appreciate you being on. Thank you, and we'll do this again. I know you sent the other video, the 1 minute, as part of the 1 million entrepreneurs, and we'll be releasing some more of those today. You're the second person today. We've got another one actually supposed to be about now, but I'm gonna end it with one sort of just question to you. You've signed up with backers. You've chosen the Sherpa plan. You're working with Ricky. What were some of your initial thoughts, and maybe for our own feedback, what were some of your maybe initial apprehensions,
Hmm.
and now and what were some of the things that you thought were really cool, and now that you're with us, what are your thoughts? Go ahead. Just very.
Yeah.
We'll end it on that, I think.
So, and this kind of ties back to my entire why did I make a physical game? The fact that I could meet you face to face, shake your hand, sit down to a meal, that meant so much. I was on the fence right before that meeting, and after that meeting, I called my mentor up. We talked about it, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go ahead with this." The fact that I could actually chat with you was a really, really big factor for me.
Cool.
But yeah, it is risky. It is scary, right? You're giving up a good chunk of your company, be it 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever it is, it's hard to give up, right?
Right.
So it is scary, but being able to work with people, being able to talk about it, and then your team is very knowledgeable in so many different ways. So really appreciate that. I I'm gonna be honest, like even now I am a little bit nervous. I am a little bit scared of what the future has in store. But as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you are always scared,
You're
right?
always nervous. I'm nervous daily. Like I
Yeah.
wake up nervous, but not really. I sometimes do. But you know what I mean? Like I was watching
Yeah.
a video. It's interesting, talking about if you're not doing something that scares you, you're not pushing the boundaries. I think,
Yeah.
and that's something that I kind of I live with that. It kind of brings you back in. It's like what I am pushing the boundaries a little bit. It is a little bit uncharted, unknown territory.
Yeah.
It's only reasonable that I be a little bit, nervous, but it doesn't mean that you don't continue, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
so
think that's
yeah,
a big thing
so
about entrepreneurs.
yeah,
They take calculated risks, but the
yeah,
risks they take are a lot bigger than the average person's risks. Like
right,
they're really big risks. But we do it because we're passionate about it, we're excited about it, and we love the challenge, right?
yeah,
And being entrepreneurs, working with other entrepreneurs, going on this journey together, I think it's really solid. And you got a good team together. That's really impressive. I did a little bit of research on every one of you that I got the names for, so I was impressed through and through. So I think
Cool.
that calms my nerves a little bit. The 30 days money back guarantee also calms the nerves a little bit, but like that, I'm sure together we'll figure out what a good plan is and what a good system is, and we'll conquer this, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's cool. You kind of cut out there for a second, but yeah. So the 30-day money back guarantee obviously takes a bit of the risk away. So we can start working together, really start building out your plan. You can see the team, you can see who
Yep.
it is. We can start to build that relationship. Sit down for lunch. We're actually, ironically, we're looking at a space right now to sort of expand from where we're at. So we'll have a studio, on-site studio, some space to kind of do some things as well, which would be really cool in the next couple of weeks,
Mhm.
into sort of the beginning of March. But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, Assad, thank you very much for taking. We're entrepreneurs, and just like somebody takes the chance on you, opening up, to allow you to sell your game in their store,
Mhm.
or also you've taken that the chance to work with us, and I'm glad that you did some background, and I'm glad we passed. I'm glad that we were
Yeah.
that we came out good, and yeah, I agree. We've been somewhat meticulous in picking our team, and I think Michael is great from the dealer's perspective. He brings a ton of experience, especially on the funding side. Having worked in that space for probably 20 plus years, 30 years. And
Mhm.
then obviously Ricky has somewhat of a similar background to you, sort of the computer science. He's built out a number of different businesses, the back end, developed a few different platforms around loyalty and rewards, and then has also gone out on his own to do some marketing and business development stuff. So and then myself, I'm the crazy one who thinks I can change the world and probably will. Isn't that the Steve Jobs quote, right? Those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that will.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm sort of the entrepreneur, whatever. But yeah, and then it's the entrepreneurs like you guys, and so some of the things that we're gonna start doing is, I was just talking with Ricky. It's in the plan is weekly workshops and getting the entrepreneurs from the local area together, right, and
Yeah.
start doing brainstorming, masterminding, right, and sort of bringing that network together on a localized level. So
Yeah.
we've got we talked about the brand, the broader kind of platform, but the opportunity to connect at a local level and do things like this and get sort of the message out to the masses. So
Yeah.
Assad,
Mhm.
thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you being on here. Any final words? Actually, social media. Where can they find you? See you? Website. It'll be linked in here. But
Yeah.
tell me, where can people find you? Where can they get the games?
Yeah.
Maybe in Toronto. Do you know of some outlets or
Yeah, I
yeah?
think the best way, so Facebook is the best
Okay.
community to get a hold of. So just look up Genesis Battle of Champions there.
Genesis
Uh,
Battle of Champions.
yep.
Okay.
And then the website, genesisbattlechampions.com.
Okay.
You can buy it directly off the website, and our store locator is there as well. So you can find all the stores
Okay.
that carry it.
Cool. Do you ship or do they ship from a store?
We ship.
You ship direct.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then the Instagram, any of that?
Yeah, Genesis BOC.
Genesis BOC Battle of Champions.
Yeah.
B as in Bob. B as in battle. O as in of. C as in champions.
Yeah.
All right. Genesis BOC. Cool. So at Genesis BOC on Instagram, Battle of Champions on Facebook, Battle of Champions, Genesis Battle of Champions, .com
Yeah.
is the website. Check it out. Assad, thank you very much. I look forward to working with you, and
Yeah.
we will talk again very soon.
All right. Bye.
All right, we're out.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Assad. I'll talk.